I said we were going to go 10-2. Had the opportunity to, but you watched a couple games last year, a couple plays, not to point out the South Carolina game, Tiny plays great, 37 minutes, on the 38th minute, he makes a play. If he doesn't do that, we win the game, some things change. But like I said, we have an expectation of being elite, and that's what we've always been. And for us, being former players, there's a burning desire. Like, at times I get angry because I wish I could be like, here, man, take my heart and my courage and all I know and go out there and play. And you'll win no matter what. I think that's the mentality I think coaches are getting the guys back to is what Flemming would always tell us. You just can't roll your helmets out there because you're Tennessee and think they're going to lay down. I said, but I think the guys are getting that mindset, and I don't like using the word swagger because it's so misused all the time, but I think they're getting the moxie back of it being Tennessee, that when people see the power of T, it's like we're going to get beat up, battered and bruised, and we're going to get embarrassed as well. So I think the guys, like I said, I think being patient, I'm tired of being patient, but also I have to realize these guys are 18 years old, and not everyone's going to be a 5-star like Alabama gets, going to plug right into the system and work. But once our system with Coach Jones is established, then you get those awards where you can put anybody in, and it's like, bam, we're still rolling. So I'm excited about that.
And the kids get it. I've talked to enough players, and I have to, back myself off a little bit because I don't want to be the dead horse, and I don't want them to feel like we're not on their side. But they understand, they understand our frustration and our displeasure. And, a lot of that wasn't pointed to them per se last year, a little bit was. But we try, and we need to do a better job of telling them how things work. And it goes back to leadership. I remember telling John Henderson and I played high school football together. He's a year younger. And when you came to Tennessee, and Troy contested this, you came in, you were an 18-year-old kid, and there were grown men there in that locker room. You walked in, and there were grown men looking at you. And John Henderson one day, I was a sophomore, he was a freshman, and John is 6'7", 300 pounds at that point. And he walked up to me, he's just been quiet since he's been there. I said, Joe, what's wrong? Well, am I allowed to talk right now? So, the problem is, because there hadn't been that, senior classes hadn't been strong, and the coaches hadn't coached those seniors up to lead, it's kind of a downward spiral. And so kids don't know how to play, how to be a Tennessee football student athlete. Kids don't know how to carry on a Tennessee tradition yet. And I think Coach Jones is trying to build that from the top down, and that's the way the program has to be run.
Let's see if you guys would maybe break down the upcoming schedule and maybe give us some insight into the key matchups that are expected.
Well, Tennessee got a couple of easy games opening up with, and I think that's good. It's going to be needed because they've got really a brutal stretch after a couple of 1AA games in which they go to Oregon and Florida back-to-back weeks, but certainly back-to-back games. And then right after that, they've got Georgia coming into town, which I think Georgia will probably have the best offense in the SEC, if not one of the best offenses in the nation. So that's going to be a stiff early test inside Neyland Stadium. Tennessee's probably going to be 2-2 at that point. So it's going to be a key game for Tennessee. They've got to try to find a way to steal a win against somebody that they're maybe not supposed to be. And that stretch goes from like Oregon to Florida to Georgia, South Carolina's in there, Alabama's in the mix there. There's some really brutal games. And then you get to the month of November, and they've got Missouri on the docket. They've got Auburn coming into town the second weekend in November, and then Vanderbilt and Kentucky. That month of November, as usual, is going to be key. And I think it's been since 2009 since Tennessee's won an SEC game in the month of October. So the Vols have to find a way to not dig such a big hole so that every single game in November